What's going on, my peoples? This your boy, Mr. OBF, back one time for you, man. My bad, people. Having technical difficulties. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Um, Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell button when we go live, people. And if you can, people, make sure you don't. If you can, donate to the channel. Go to OBF the Real Cash App and donate to the channel, people. It keeps the lights on. Listen, man. I've been resting for a couple of days, man. I've been exhausted. Been doing a little shit around the house. Doing projects and shit I've been doing. So that's why I haven't been going live. Um, we got a big week coming up with a whole bunch of live streams, and I gotta go back in the editing room and do some shit. Um, so we got some big shit coming up, people. So just be patient. We got the Tank Davis Ryan Garcia fight coming up. So we got a lot of big shit. We got the Sunday show coming up. So with me talking and LT. So I'm still working on that. Hopefully we can get that show jumping off this week. Excuse me, this Sunday. Hopefully we do a live stream this Saturday. Uh, so we can have some calls and have I'm gonna start this call in Saturday thing where people can call in on Saturday. Um, Throw out some questions they want to ask me, and we'll chop it up a little bit or whatever. Got some big shit coming up, people. Just be patient with me. I got these things coming up. They're just taking a little bit of time. Plus, listen, people, I'm a family man. I got shit going on around the crib that I need to handle. Okay, but anyway, um, let's get into this Tennessee shooting thing, man. Listen, it's sad that we got to keep having this thing of saying, the condolences go out to the families and those children. God rest those children's soul and the teachers or whatever and their families. I I get tired of almost saying it because it's like it's not doing anything. We're not doing anything about these school shootings, and it get to a point of the people in Tennessee and all around the country that's in these states that will not change gun laws and policies. You're making it even more easy access and easy for some of these people to go through loopholes to get these automatic weapons, these weapons. Period. I don't give a fuck they handguns or not. It's too easy to get guns in some of these states. You're not doing anything about it. Um, I get that there's other people that live in that state. It like, listen, stop. I'm getting irritated by it, but can we just stop reporting it? It's nothing to report. It's the same old shit over and over again. We already know what it is. We know why it's happening. People in these states are voting for this shit. They are okay with open carry states. They are okay with loopholes. They okay with having AR-15s out there to kill children. Stop talking about gun violence in your state because you know what the problem is. You know why that there's so much gun violence in your state. I don't want to. I'm tired of y'all even talking about gun violence. And you know who I'm talking about? These goddamn Republicans. I'm sick of y'all talking about it. Stop talking about the shit. I don't care. Y'all don't care about it. Why the fuck should everybody else really care about it? You don't care about these children dying. These children are dying on a fucking monthly basis of a fucking school shooting. It's like a school shooting every month, people. We always talking about another school shooting every month. And you would think that, excuse me, you would think that by now we haven't like back in the day, we had it wasn't like a whole bunch of school shootings, right? It's like almost um it's more school shootings happening. It was less school shootings happening then because we had some type of gun restrictions and laws and shit like that. It wasn't the best, but we had gun restrictions and laws that stopped a lot of this shit. Now it's so easy for people to get access to guns and children to get access to these fucking guns because of the fucking adults. And then at the end of the day, who actually really get hurt more? The fucking children, because now the children are terrified to be in school. The children got to go through all these drills and shit when school shootings happening, and children are dying. So we at a point now where the grown ass adults in the room are just being stupid and ignorant. And stop telling us that you care about it. Stop. I don't want to hear from Republican people Stop telling me you pro-life. You're not pro-life because we just watched another school shooting happen. We just watched another school shooting happen, and you're going to do nothing about it. But encourage people more to go out and get guns. Encourage teachers to bring guns into school where it will be more casualties happening. If people let teachers to go into schools and carry guns. I'm sick of this shit. Just like it was a waste of time. I was watching they had a hearing on gun reform and gun violence or whatever in Congress, and you know not in Congress and House of Representative, the Republicans and shit. You know that these bitches ain't going to do nothing. They're doing the opposite of what supposed to what things that's supposed to be fixed and policies that need to be created. They're creating other policies. They're on the opposite of everything. So it's like, what are they having hearings for? I don't even, my honest opinion, I'm not for sure about this, but I need to look this up. I'm not for sure why Democrats even go to these hearings. Just let the fucking Republicans just do them fucking dumbass hearings. Don't show up. It's nothing to debunk or debate. Or if you're gonna send somebody, send one person. We don't need to see 4 or 5 Democrats there. We don't need to see that shit no more. They're locking up the motherfucker. The Republicans are so disrespectful. I got a clip of this shit. Like I said, I got a lot of shit I'm putting out on live streams this week. I just been busy, been no shit around the house. But the motherfucker, they just locked up the parents of a child that died in that Florida I think it's Parkland shooting, if I'm not mistaken. Got the father arrested because of the outburst that he did or whatever. And then my whole saying is, my thing is, you're up there talking nonsense. And then you expect these people to sit there and be okay with what you're saying. Their kid died. You got your kids. And it's even more crazy because after, shit got a little what it was, he said, damn, are we having an insurrection? Like, he made fun of Jack, shut up, sit down. Sit down. I hear the door. Some packets. Go sit down somewhere. Eat your food. Hey, what I say? This nigga barking, man. But I'm glad he barked though. Motherfuckers come at the door and shit. Usually he can hear people coming on the porch here start barking, but I guess he ain't here. I guess that's probably down there with sleep. I got him right by the hallway, nigga. Try to get in my house. My dog gonna alert me, let me know who coming in the motherfucking house. That's how he trained, nigga. I trained my dog. But anyway, and he was making fun of the January 6th shit. People died that day. He was making fun of those parents. Like, it was just so disrespectful to those parents and to the parents that had the children that died. It was disrespectful to their children that died in that school shooting. It is disrespectful to the survivors of that school shooting. It was just so disrespectful how the Republicans behave and not taking this shit seriously. And it gets to the point that where I can continue to keep telling people, what is the point of communication when people are not listening? It's like, with my kid, with my daughter, if I feel that she ain't listening to me, I raise my voice a little bit or something like that. You get a little angry, you get a little upset. So let her know, like, hey, are you listening to what I just said? What I just say, like, and it's like that with the Republicans, but you're dealing with supposed to be grown as adults. It's like, hey man, all right, man, what are we having a conversation for? You're not gonna listen anyway. You're acting like this shit don't what you think exists, but the shit that I know for a fact that exists doesn't exist. So what are we having a conversation about? And so I just don't understand why the Democrats keep even going to some of these hearings. I understand they gotta have somebody to represent and speak on the behalf and debunk the shit. I get all that, but we at a point in America where we just living amongst the stupid people. People want to live stupidly. People want to, I don't know, like, it's the shit that I used to say. People vote and want to live, they will vote for people against their own livelihood for whatever fucked up reason it may be. It's even like it's on steroids now. Like these motherfuckers, like we're living amongst stupid people. You can't keep telling me people are very aware of issues, and you can't keep telling me the voters are very aware of society. They're not. And I want to be very, very clear about people are not very, very aware of what's going on around them. Right? What's really going on around us, they're not paying attention. People live in bubbles. And when you have these Republican people going out voting for Republicans, they live in the bubble. If you cannot see that whatever the Republicans, whatever their agenda is, they can see that this shit doesn't work for everybody, or at least even for them to a certain extent. The policies, the fucking whatever it is, the ideology is not working. So two things, it could be two things, or two things could be true, right? One is that these people live in the fucking bubble and they're just not aware of what's fucking really going on. They assume they really truly probably think they know what's really going on, but they really don't, right? Now, number two, that they know exactly what is going on. They believe in the ideology, so they're okay with it. So I always say, when bad shit happen to Republicans, why get upset about it? Why be concerned about these people? Because they damn sure seem like they don't care about other people. So I just be like, I just don't understand why we keep having these conversations about school shootings and shit like that. It's almost like I don't want to get, I don't want to normalize this shit because this is not normal, right? It get to a point of when nobody doing nothing about it. Listen, people, we pay taxes every year, every check you can say, right? That where we put people in power to make sure our children can be safe of being in school. Like it's not like no shit that you're not paying for. So that's not the issue. So if the listen, I just don't want to hear from Republican people no more. I don't want to hear their condolences. I don't want to hear their point of view. It's irrelevant at this point. Children are dying, and they are up here talking about shit that don't make no sense. Conspiracy theories. They out here defending criminals at January 6th. They going to jails to where people committed crimes on January 6th. But there's children out here dying. But they're more concerned about people that actually tried to take over the government. Listen, man, I just don't understand. I mean, a part of me understand a big part of me understands what the fuck is really going on because I'm not naive to what's going on. But at the same time, I just don't know what the fuck is wrong with these people. Like, you got to be stupid or you just believe in that shit. Either way, you stupid to me. But I just don't understand why we keep having these conversations. It's nothing to debate. It's not a conversation that we need to have. We know what the problem is. We know the issues. We know how to fix some of this shit. We're not saying you change some of these policies. If you put the certain policies in, it'll change everything. This will never ever happen again. But it will not continue to, because nothing is 100%. Nothing in life is, right? But there's only two things in life. Well, it's really only really one thing in life that is 100%. That is that we all are going to die one day. That is 100%. Okay? Everything else is not 100%. But we know that if we could stop a lot of these mass shootings and shit like that in these schools or just anywhere, but just stop the gun violence, period. You know, we can't, if we can stop it, that's a step forward. Like, you get what I mean? Nobody's saying that you're gonna stop all violence. Nobody's assuming that, oh, if you just do this, pass this bill, pass this law, take this away, like it's gonna stop everything. No, nobody's saying that, but we know what the big problem is. We know why this shit can happen. These mass shootings are happening on a consistent basis. We know that for a fact. We know that we can hopefully stop a lot of these mass shootings if we pass certain laws and policies. But we just amongst the stupid. And like I said, that's why I always tell people, how can I feel American? How can I feel great and love this country when this country is okay with we got a little bit lesser than the half of the people in the country that is okay with children dying, being murdered. I just don't understand that. So I can't love a country that don't love the people. I can't love a country that we got politicians that is okay with murdering, okay with children being murdered and doing nothing about it. How do you love a country like that? Excuse me, how do you feel patriotic? How do you feel like America, you get the American dream? Like I said, man, you have to be damn near a heartless person when you if you sit down with parents and they're breaking down and they're tearing and they're telling you face to face, you having conversations with them, and they just lost their child through a mass shooting or gun violence, and you still don't do nothing about it. You got the power to do something about it, but you do nothing about it because you're getting money off of these children dying. You're getting money. Listen, people, I can't put it no other way. The Republicans make money off of children in these mass shootings, off of these children dying in all these mass shootings. They make money off of it. People gonna say, Kenny, how? Gun manufacturers. Who you think lobbying for them? The Republicans. Nobody's saying that Democrats don't own guns. I ain't saying I don't own no guns. I'm just saying that I'm one of the ones that's responsible to have guns. A lot of these people are not even responsible to have guns. It is loopholes. Listen, people. Listen, people can get. Listen, it's so easy to get guns now. I don't give a fuck what state you are in now. It's so easy to get a gun because of the loopholes. These gun shows and shit, they selling these guns. People can sell guns to people without going through the proper channels to sell people guns. You got gun owners selling criminals guns. So I'm just telling y'all, it's loopholes and shit. That's why you seeing so many guns. You seeing people that not even registered to have guns. Criminals get guns is because of the loopholes. That's why you got so much gun violence. It got to the point I kept asking myself, why they keep calling every time some shit happen in the hood a mass shooting, right? Well, it kind of is. Because, like, if you think about what happened at the school shooting, that's gun violence. So it's all gun violence. It's all the same shit. Because we know at the end of the day, well, some of us know that it's the loopholes. That's why these people keep getting these guns. It's too easy to get guns now, people, and that's why people are dying more. That's why these children are dying. It's too easy to get. It's too easy of access for these kids to get guns. Too many loopholes, and we know what the problem is. But like I said, we have people that vote for the people that do nothing about passing stricter gun laws and policies. They're getting paid to do this. They're getting votes. They're getting voted in office to allow this shit to happen. So I don't listen. On one hand, you can't keep telling me the school shootings are bad, blah, blah, blah. It's not the guns. But then turn around when shit happens in the street, right? Oh, you know, in the hoods, it's gun violence. All that shit is gun violence. And you notice more and more every day. Like I told you, we get a fucking mass shooting every month in schools. It's a mass shooting every month in school around the country. That's gun violence. It's no different. It's getting worse and worse, people. So, like, listen, motherfuckers can't even go to the grocery store, can't go to Walmart, you can't go nowhere. Motherfuckers just shooting up schools, shooting up churches. Listen, the two sacred things back in the day that people knew not to do, even the fucking gangsters knew not to do this goofy shit. Now the stupid gangsters are approaching and shooting up churches. You stupid son of a bitches. You ain't no different than a fucking school shooter. You going to churches and shooting up. Listen, churches is supposed to be one of those places where it's off limits to do violence, regardless of what the fuck you think about the church. I'm not a religious person, but come on, bruh. And schools, you don't fuck with children, man. And usually people that's in churches is usually the elderly. Regardless of what they're there for, funeral or whatever it is, these niggas shooting up funerals. But like I said, I'm tired of people complaining about shit and you vote for it. I'm tired of the voters. You can't keep telling me I feel sorry. You don't feel sorry for these school shootings. You voted for it. You voted for it. You're voting for it. Every time you go vote for Republicans, that's what you vote for. If you vote Republican, you vote for school shootings. You're not voting to keep your Second Amendment. Nobody's saying that you can't own no fucking guns. And you know, it always be, if you ever notice, it always be people that already have guns that are, that got guns the right way, complaining about gun rights. Like their guns are getting taken away. That is not true. The guns is not getting taken away. It wouldn't get taken away. We're just saying shouldn't own AR-15s. I don't think nobody should be owning them fucking guns. Now you want to go to a gun range or something and shoot them bitches or something like that, rent them out to shoot them, that's fine. But you shouldn't be able to go home and have one of them bitches in your home. You don't know if your kid going to fucking flip out one day and say he got bullied and going to school and do a mass shooting, because that happens a lot. You think a lot of these kids are buying these guns? Hell no, they parents buying these fucking guns. Or they going through loopholes and they getting these guns. They ain't no different than the fucking street kids getting illegal guns. Them guns is illegal for children to get under 18. Now you had this 21-year-old white woman go into school in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, and shoot up a religious school, kill religious people in a religious school. But remember, they tell us if we just put God back in the school, hey, we wouldn't have these problems. Nah. And from my understanding, doing a little bit of research about what's really going on with this woman to a certain extent, because her name is not out there yet. She's dead, by the way. They killed her ass. Which, like I said, I don't know why they don't kill them at all anyway. You go to a school and do a mass shooting, your ass you should not make it out. I told you I ain't pro-life, so I don't listen. Some shit is okay to kill a motherfucker, man. You go into school, and I'm not condoning people to kill people. I'm just saying, but listen, it's no way shit. You get killed in a traffic stop, and you ain't did shit, but because they smell weed and you so-called resisted arrest, they kill you. And you telling me motherfuckers, these school shooters get to go into schools and shoot up schools and kill children and shit and adults and shit in the school, and they come out in handcuffs. Bullshit. Bullshit. But anyway, she go and kind of find out that, like I said, did a little research. She I'm not 100% yet because everything about her is not coming out. They're not saying everything about this person. Um, this murderer, because that's what she is. She's a fucking murderer. Uh, she most likely went to that school. So now we get down to the next thing about that. And like I said, and listen, I will not be surprised if this person that did this mass shooting at this Christian school, I will not be surprised that she went back to that school because of some molestation. Something happened like that. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Actually, I'm very high of my percentage that that's mostly like why she went and shot up that school. Because my understanding, she wasn't there to target kids. My understanding, she targeted the adults because a couple of adults died first. So listen, I won't listen. Don't be shocked, people, when more information come out that this woman most likely is some molesting shit probably happened to her in that school. But like I said, don't be surprised either they try to cover it up. They try to act like she ain't leave no manifesto or nobody knew why she did what she did. Listen, a lot of times those people that go do that type of shit in mass shootings, they let you know the reason why they went to go do that shit. It's like a suicide note. They letting you know why they go and do that shit. They got it written down. It's a reason a lot of them do it. Not saying it makes sense of why they go do it, but a lot of the times they go, it's a reason why they go do what they do. And I guarantee you this woman got it written down somewhere. Oh, people know why she did what she did. But I guarantee you, don't be surprised that they try to cover this shit up of that this woman probably went there and shot up that religious school and killed them adults because some molestation probably happened. And I keep telling y'all, people are they talk about grooming and shit in schools. I'm telling you, it be the churches. It be a lot of those religious schools. I'm telling y'all that. Especially when it comes to young women. They are being molested. Young girls, they are being molested in them churches. I'm telling y'all. It's a lot of fuck shit be going on there, people. I'm telling y'all. The one thing I noticed, if you ever noticed or what be going on, when it be about them religious, a lot of them are cults. So a lot of those religious cults, they don't speak on a lot of that shit no more. If you ever notice that, and they don't talk about uh the molestation that goes on in them churches. They rarely talk about that shit no more. They talk about all the shit that they try to. It's an agenda. It's always been an agenda in this country. They always tried to cover up the fuck shit that religious groups, cults, and shit do in this country. They always try to do it. They've been doing this shit for a long goddamn time. And I guarantee you, like I said, don't be shocked, people. The days will come and the weeks to come that we find out that this 28-year-old woman mass shooter went in that school and shot that school up because she got molested by somebody in that school. They touched her wrong. Something happened. I'm telling you. No, listen. It's very rare that you even. This is what I'm telling everybody. It's very rare that people, mass shooters, go into religious schools and shoot religious schools up. That's like it's like a church. It's like, yo, is when you hear about a church with a mass shooting at a church, you be like, what the fuck? You banging on Jesus, nigga? Like nobody does that shit. So it's a reason why people target churches or target religious schools. I'm telling you, it's always a reason why. It's always a reason why. If that shit ain't hard to figure out a lot of the times, people just don't go in churches and kill people. I told you, religion is like secret. It's like like especially churches. It's like it's like one of those things that like it's not. You only have to talk about it, nigga. You don't do that. Like you don't fuck around with churches and you don't fuck around with schools. You leave children and churches the fuck alone. Schools and churches alone. So when people go and do mass shootings and shit, it's a reason for that dumbass goofy shit. Not saying that it's okay that they're doing it, but it's a big reason of why. And mainly, a lot of that shit, why those school shootings and a lot of those, mass shootings happen in churches and shit like that is because of the right wing. These are right wing people. They are rarely people that lean left or independent. It's usually people that lean right. And that's why extreme right extremism, far right extremism is probably one of the. It should be on everybody high alert of one of the things that are what's fucking up society. I listen. I keep telling you, if you ever really be around people that are Republicans, they are really, believe it or not, they are very violent. They just they like to hide it. They like to hide who they are. But now you see them for who they really are. Especially the far right nut job motherfuckers. These motherfuckers be, you know, I told you a lot of them be stuck in the bubble where they live. They ain't around shit. You get what I mean? They live somewhere deep in the boondocks, some motherfucking where you if you go to their town or some shit like that, nigga, you may got a 7-Eleven around that bitch. You may have a Walmart around there. It may be, maybe. But a lot of times there's little local gas stations and shit like that for miles away. Like they live in these seclusive ass fucking places. And these are the people that got internet for the first fucking time in their life. Like I told you, they don't live in society like that. They live in the bubble. And so now they got the internet, and now they're seeing shit and hearing shit that they always been believing in their life. And now they got other people from way far out from wherever the fuck they from agreeing with their craziness. So that's why they're being connected. I keep telling everybody that. So when you see these motherfucking nut jobs and you see these people at them Trump rallies and all that, just look at them and see how fucking delusional they look. The shit that comes out of their mouth. And then you throw on top of that these people live, and throw on top of that a lot of them are religious. And if people don't think about this, religion it doesn't supposed to be a bad thing, right? It's supposed to uplift you, keep you. It's like religion is supposed to be some shit that eases your mind. It's like doing yoga or some shit. Like it's supposed to be like that type of feeling of religion. It's supposed to make you be a better person, calm you. You know, when you go and to these churches and try to seek forgiveness and try to be a better person and shit like that. Now, as if you notice, a lot of these nut job ass people or so-called religious people, they go to church to get riled up. They tell you Jesus is a motherfucker that. This is why I tell you that a lot of these people don't believe in God, right? If you read the Bible, they tell you God is not, nowhere in the Bible God is violent. Nowhere in the Bible. It's usually the people that's in the Bible are God's kids that he created, right? It's usually these motherfuckers then wind up getting violent. It's never God. It's never Jesus. Jesus actually died for us. Like, you get what I'm saying? So he actually let people kill him. People that he helped create. So you think about these people when they go to these churches and shit, and they get all riled up, and these pastors and these religious nut jobs, these fake ass religious people, and they sit there and they wild these so-called religious people up to be violent. But these people are so caught up in They so caught up in the religion of the cult that they don't see what I see. Like they can't see a lot of the shit that we see because if you, it's like being in a gang, bro. Like it's no difference. It's like you get caught up. You start justifying shit. Like at one point you knew a lot of this shit was wrong, right? But then more and more you get deeper and deeper into the gang or the cult or whatever how you want to look at it, right? Because even being in the gang is like being in a cult, right? Or being a part of that street shit. It's like being in a cult, bro. You make all the excuses in the world of the fuck shit that you're doing or other people around you doing. So you make excuses for it. And just think about what religious people do. They like I told you, a lot of them they justify their behavior of, you know, if people just did what we did and just be religious, we wouldn't have this issue. That's the reason we have the it's in the Constitution of like, yo, that's why we got separation of state, church and state. Like, dude, your religion, your beliefs is not how the country works. You got the right to believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. You got the right to worship. And like I told you, the thing about religious people, and this is what clouds people mind up. That's why they vote the way they vote. That's why they do the shit that they do. And this is part of the reason why I'm not religious, right? And like I said, religion, a lot of times it's like a gang, being in a gang, being in a cult. Listen, if you are in, like, religion clouds your mind up from reality, right? Because, like, their reality, like, just think about religious people, right? Or what the shit that they believe. They believe in the Bible. That they don't, at the end of the day, let's just be very honest about the Bible. Nobody knows who wrote that shit. Nobody knows that. You believe in God, believe whatever you want, but nobody knows for a fact God wrote that book. Right? Nobody, mind you, they've been in this religion, they've been religious all their life. From a lot of times these people have been in religion since they was children. And they've been, been groomed through this religion through since they was children, right? Going to church since they was in elementary school, right? To where they start to comprehend to a certain extent, right? And then in their fucking 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and shit, and that's all they know, right? Their soul, at this point, they think everything in that Bible is true. But the whole time through this whole religion shit, they have never seen God. They have never talked to God. They have never dreamed about God. They don't even know what God really looks like. They assume that because the Bible tells them that, especially the white Bible, right? This white religious shit, these evangelicals, they tell you God was white. They told black people God was white. Like, come on. But if you read the Bible that they have, that they read, it simply tells you God is not white, right? But somehow these religious nuts has bamboozled for generations, for hundreds of years, even thousands of years. They've been bamboozling people through religion to have some type of control over the people. I'm just trying to tell y'all. So when you see these goddamn religious people out here, you see them at these Trump rallies, and these motherfuckers talk about Christians for Trump and all that other shit. That's delusional. They're delusional people. There's no way impossible that they think their beliefs is the same as Donald Trump if they so-called Christians or whatever religion they may be. If you're religious, regardless, it's no way impossible you think that your morals and ideology, especially you say you read the Bible and you religious or whatever from whatever religion you have, right? it lines up with Donald Trump. These people out here talking about God and sent them signs and shit, and they dreamed about God, and God told them to go and support Donald Trump and fight for Trump. He's the they some people think Trump is the second best thing of Jesus. That's delusional. There's no man on earth can be compared to God. Martin Luther King is not. Nobody would ever say that Martin Luther King is second in place to God. It's nobody. Not even Jesus, nigga. Like you can't even compare Martin Luther King to Jesus, nigga. It's like who does that? But religious nuts. People that live in cults, that live, I told you, a lot of them do not live in reality. And I keep telling y'all that. They don't live in reality. These people have been living amongst, they've been living in the bubble for so long. So now they're outside now. Right? And then now, and this is a part of what's happening with a lot of religious white folks, right? Because a lot of them are racist too. I just be wanting to tell people that a lot of evangelicals are racist as fuck. Just need y'all to know that. Okay? Listen. They're outside now. They got more access to see how the country is actually really running. They have for at least, I say at least for like 2 generations. Well, no, I say 9 to 2 generations, at least 2 decades. These motherfuckers did not know what the fuck was going on in the country. They had no clue. Right? Especially if you go to the South. They really, truly did. A lot of those racist ass white people, they really didn't know what the fuck was going on. All they just started to see, the country they started to see more black people in their space, right? But we always going to be there. So a part of them kind of care, but didn't care, right? But then they started seeing a lot more of these motherfucking Mexicans and shit. They started to see a lot more Arabs. They started to see a lot more Chinese people and all of different nationality people. And when they started to see that shit, that's when shit changed for them. And mainly, and I'm telling you, the internet is a good and a bad thing. It's bad for right wingers to be on the internet or have access to the internet. It's bad for them to have it. Just look at the shit that they be saying. Look at the shit they be coming up with, the content. A lot of the shit listen, people. Part of them, listen, it's a nice little percentage of them that actually believe in a lot of shit that they say. But the rest of them, they know goddamn well it's a lie. They are lying to people. They're lying to themselves if they okay with lying to people. That means you lying to yourself. You lie to yourself to say, okay, I'm gonna make this lie be what it is. You know it's a lie, so you lie to yourself. But anyway, that is what's going on in the world. That's why nothing is happening. That's why, and I mean in this country, that's why we keep having these mass shootings. Because they outside now. And what I mean by outside, these motherfuckers are on the internet. They get to see what the country is really like. Before the internet really started getting popping like that, these bitches wasn't, they lived in the bubble. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. They didn't know what the fuck was going on. And I'm going to tell you the difference between just regular Republican Trump supporter voters, right? Just the regular motherfuckers that work 9 to 5s and, you know what I mean, maybe got a little small business or whatever, right? I'm going to tell y'all something. They are stupid. They're really stupid, right? Because they don't even understand that the Republicans that they're voting for don't give a fuck about them either. It's a class issue with them. It's a class issue. You think Ron DeSantis give a fuck about some white Ron DeSantis voter that live in a trailer park, that work a 9 to 5, really gives a fuck about them? With these culture wars, he's placating to them, passing stupid policies and shit like this shit exists. But he ain't changing nothing in their life. He's not creating jobs. He's not doing none of that shit. Listen, If you think I'm lying about this shit, research some of these southern states. They are some of these southern states are the most poor states in the country. Top five. A lot of them top five. Back to back. It ain't blue states like you think. It ain't Michigan. When you go to Michigan, motherfucker, Detroit. Like, nigga, go down south Arizona, some shit. Nigga, it's poor down that bitch. They more poor than Detroit. And there's more white people in Arizona. I mean, in Arkansas, nigga. One of the poorest states in the country. Top five. Mississippi. Alabama. Tennessee. Trying to tell you. Ohio. It's poor shit. That's more Midwest, but still. It's ran by Republicans. Go to a lot of these Republican states. Poor. The only reason that Utah ain't as poor as it is because you don't hear shit about Utah. Utah just like you go to Colorado, Utah, all that shit, man. No, nobody. Who the fuck talks about Utah? Who want to go live in Utah, nigga? Nobody wants to go there. You got a lot of Native Americans and shit maybe live there. It's probably more Native Americans that live in Colorado or Utah or some shit than it is black and brown people. You know what I mean? As far as like Latinos and shit. Man, it's more Native Americans there, nigga. And they own a lot of that land out there. I need y'all to understand that shit. They got a lot of land out there. So like it ain't really shit popping out that bitch. Native Americans is to themselves, nigga. They create their own communities and they be chilling, nigga. They don't fuck about that shit. But it be them white folks that be out there still trying to steal their land, nigga. Like seriously. They tell you about all the ghettos and California, how bad California is, and the violence and shit. Listen, people, it's poor shit down in Arizona. In Arkansas, and Little Rock, Arkansas, and all that shit, man. Listen, Mississippi and motherfucking Mississippi and Alabama and all the motherfucking Tennessee, them motherfuckers, the poorest states in the country. And what they don't tell you is just as much violence down that bitch than it is in the big cities, the Democrat big cities, the Detroits, the LAs, the Los Angeles, and New York and Chicago. You know what I mean? Virginia is one of the poorest states in the country. Go to West Virginia, nigga. It's poor shit. I'm trying to tell y'all. Listen, bro. It's poor shit, man. And I'm telling you, it's a lot. People be thinking the black community is poor. Listen, nigga. It is so many poor as white neighborhoods in a lot of these southern states. I'm telling y'all. And mind you, it's more them than us. So it's more poor. They're more poor than us. It's more of them that's poor than us. But they too stupid to understand that they shouldn't be living that way. Nobody should be living that way. Just trying to tell y'all, man. Don't let these people bamboozle you or how like the big cities is so bad in New York, it's so bad in LA, it's so bad in Chicago and all these big cities, Democrat cities. Listen, nobody's saying it ain't bad, it ain't got no bad shit going on. But people, those cities are bigger. Them states are bigger than a lot of these southern states. But it's poor shit going on. You go to Texas, nigga. You go to certain parts of Texas, nigga, where nothing but white people at, right? It's poor shit down there. It ain't nothing but a whole bunch of trailer park poor ass white folks in a city. The whole city poor. They got cities that's poor in states where there's a whole bunch of white people at and they poor shit. Remember the train shit happened in Ohio? That shit ain't nothing but around a bunch of poor people. That shit happened right behind a whole bunch of poor people. People ain't a whole, but ain't no shit popping. Ain't no jobs down there in Ohio, nigga. Think about where Trump went at, nigga. He ain't go to no factories. He ain't go to none of that shit, nigga. You know where he went at? McDonald's. It was a whole bunch of poor ass white people there. Trying to tell you. Trying to tell you. Bunch of poor ass white people. Listen, people, do you remember it was a period of time back in the day? A lot of y'all may not be old enough to understand this, but back in the day, like maybe like in the 90s or some shit like that, right? Maybe at the end of the 90s, right? When we get ready to get into 2000s. Before the 2000s came, the 90s down, right? We say 90s, 80s, 70s, right? When McDonald's came out, like, yo, that was some shit that where children used to work. You used to see children work, and like when I was young, you used to see, if you seen an adult in there, they was most likely the supervisor or the manager or some shit, right? But but back then you just seen children work there, young folks. When you go to McDonald's now, and I ain't trying to disrespect people that work at McDonald's, nigga. That ain't what I'm trying to say. I'm just telling you how poor people are now. It's more poor people now than it was back then. People be thinking that it's a whole bunch of rich motherfuckers. No, it's not. It's actually less rich people now. Okay? It's not as many rich people as you think. It was more rich people in the 90s and the 80s. I'm telling y'all that. Let's go look at statistics. It's not a whole bunch of motherfuckers that's rich now, bro. That's people that's it's more because the middle class is gone. The middle class is like motherfuckers in the middle class, like poor down there, like poor people. They like that's how bad shit got. Because these rich motherfuckers have fucked up the economy every decade. These Republicans, they just fuck it up every time, and they fucking fuck the economy up. They do it every fucking every 10 years. They fuck the economy up. Every time a Republican get in there, they fuck the economy up. Even when we got the economy back up running good, right? It's fucked up because of the Republicans fucked it up. That's why we got to get back to shit being good, right? Like Biden, everybody mad at Biden. This shit ain't getting better. Shit's the same. Of course it's not. He only been in there 2 years. The fucking Republicans been in there and they've been plotting this shit for almost over 15 years to get back in power. Well, you can say 8 to 10 years to get back in power, and then they have 4 years. They took 4 years to fuck the country up, the economy up. They took 4 years to fuck it up. At least when George Bush was in there, nigga, he had 8 years to fuck it up. And it ain't take him that long to fuck it up. It took him maybe about 2-3 years, maybe, to fuck it up. Every time they get in office and get in power, regardless if it's the Senate, the presidency, they fuck the economy up. They fuck it up. They fuck it up every time, people. That's why when they talk about make America great, it ain't got nothing to do with the economy, nigga. Because if you really want to be real about it, the economy always be good under a Democrat. It's never good under Republicans. For regular folks. I'm just telling y'all that. Go look at the statistics, do your homework. I guarantee you it will show you and prove to you that every time Republicans are in office, the economy is only doing good because they're coming. Like even when Trump got in there, the economy was doing good because of Barack and them, because he built the economy back up, right? We be in the plus. But soon Republicans get in there, they fuck the economy up. Sooner or later, they'll fuck it up. It ain't gonna take them long. Take 2-3 years to fuck it up. Look how it only took Trump 2-3 years to fuck the economy up. He fucked it up. Because number one, they do not know how to govern. The Republicans do not know how to govern because they're not governing for the people. They're governing governing for the rich, the powerful, the corporations. I know people will be like, well, what about Democrats? Listen, partly they do that, but they do heavily a lot more better for the people than the Republicans. You know, like I said, when they fuck the economy up, when the Republicans get in there and they lobby and they pass policies or they deregulate shit for the corporations, what happens? Something fucking bad happens. They deregulate shit for the banks. The banks go overboard. The businesses go overboard. They lower taxes for the fucking corporations, for the rich. What happens? They fuck the economy up. They always tell you the trickle down effect. It's already proven that the trickle down effect could work, right? It could work. But when you got greedy ass rich folks and you deregulate them and give them the extra money that they want, right? They don't put the shit back into the economy. They give it to their rich friends. They pocket the money. They don't create bigger jobs. I mean, more jobs and shit. They actually lay people off. Because they got the money in their pocket, they can afford to lay these people off. You gotta do your homework on a lot of this shit. This shit ain't hard to figure out either. And like I said, every time they get in there, they fuck shit up. Just think about even now. They let the fucking Republicans win the House. What they doing? Ask yourselves what they're doing. What policies are they passing? They passing shit that nobody gives a fuck about. The shit doesn't exist. A lot of the problems that they passing policies for. They passing culture war policies, nigga. You look at Ron DeSantis, nigga. Listen, the only reason that Florida ain't fucked up the way it is because it's a tourist attraction. It's a tourist attraction down there. It's the only reason the economy ain't fucked up down there like that. But the people down there ain't doing no better. The rich people are, but the fucking regular folks, those dumbass DeSantis voters, they ain't doing no better, bro. He passing policies, culture war policies, be like, see, I did something for you. It's like placating. They placating to these motherfuckers. Giving them a little shiny nickel or some shit, showing them a shiny nickel, huh? See? See what I'm doing for you? I'm passing the policy. You asked me to pass this. I told you I was going to stop a lot of this shit. But mind you, the economy ain't shit. It ain't going, he's not bringing more jobs there. They're not creating more attraction to bring people there. As far as businesses and shit. They're not creating jobs. They're not doing shit. You would think the Republicans get in that bitch and they be in there passing policies to like this is their only job for the country, for people in Congress to do. They are only there to pass policies to make sure the justice, three things, make sure the justice system is the justice system is fair to everybody, right? They are there to check and some of these government entities and shit like that. They're there for that, right? That's what's one thing. Then they are there to make sure that they pass policies to keep people safe, right? Then they're there to make sure financially the people is taken care of. That's all they're there for. All this other extra shit that they're doing in government, these culture wars, bullshit, that shit don't help nobody. All that shit does is rile people up. You passing no gay bills and shit like that, passing the abortion bills and ban abortion bills. That shit don't help nobody, bro. It doesn't help nobody. It's just to divide us. It's just to keep everybody beefing over some culture wars. And what I mean by culture wars is that whatever you believe in, right, you may not like that other people like. So if you don't like that, I agree with you. I'm going to fight against you with this. Instead of sitting down and having, listen, mind you, we had shit on the books for abortion. What happened, I'm telling you what happened. The religious folks, and I'm going to tell you something about religious people, and mainly the evangelicals, and a lot of other churches, different religious churches and shit, because they all kind of believe in not abortion. Not the abortion. People shouldn't have abortions, right? So you get a lot of these religious people uh giving money to these politicians, so the politicians are lobbying for their religious beliefs, which they should not be. I think they shouldn't be allowed to do it. I think if these motherfuckers ain't paying their church taxes, nigga, I don't think that they should be able to vote. My honest opinion. Because if that's what you're seeing is what's happening with a lot of the culture war shit. Just any of the culture war, even the race issues, the CRT shit, critical race theory shit, the banning of books and shit like that. All that shit comes from religious folks. I'm just telling y'all that. That's all it is. And mainly from evangelicals. That's all that shit comes from. They're putting their so-called beliefs. They're putting money into politics and having these lobbyists and these politicians lobbying for the lobbyists and the lobbyists is lobbying for the religious folks. That's why you're seeing so much division in the country the way it is, because the religious people, for some odd reason, they all of a sudden is taking over shit. They want people to live in a cult. They want everybody to act like them. They don't like to see what other people are doing when, listen, and I'm keep saying this. And then always their defense is, what about the children? Well, what about them? And I always tell everybody, it's your responsibility how you raise your fucking child. It ain't up to a school. It ain't up to a religion. It ain't up to politicians. None of that shit. Nigga, it's shit that I wish a motherfucking law enforcement would tell me I can't do with my child. I'm gonna spank my child. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. Lock me up. I don't give a fuck. It's my child. You be getting in my ass if my child turn out to be a fucking terrorist or some shit, a domestic terrorist. You get mad at me for that. He didn't raise his kid good. If you let me whip their ass here and there, maybe they might have not went that route. Maybe don't tell me how to talk to my motherfucking kid. Maybe don't tell me how to discipline my child. If I ain't abusing my fucking child, what are you worrying about it for? But like I said, they don't let the kid. They don't want you to discipline the children. And then let's just go back to even with that shit. Dumbass Republican people talk about they will allow other people to beat their children. Listen, bro. First of all, I don't believe in people beating their children, right? I'm like, here and there your child need their ass whipped, right? But I don't believe in letting somebody else beat your child. I ain't into that shit. You get what I'm saying? I ain't into that. Because like I said, like if your kid is disrespectful towards me, I'm gonna tell you, you can't bring your child around me no more. And you don't do nothing about it, you can't bring your child around me or my family no more. Maybe I may not want to hang around you. Like it's not hard to, I mean, parenting is hard, people, but when it comes to your child, man, and how to discipline your child, it's not hard to kind of understand the rules of certain shit. Don't go overboard of fucking abusing your kids, but you should be able to spank your kid. And like I said, I don't believe in, a lot of times you always got to keep spanking your kid. You know what I mean? Like, Nigga, like I told you, I don't even know the last time I spanked my daughter. Like it ain't no shit that I normally do. Like, you know what I mean? Like my daughter, we raised her right, so we don't have that problem of her being disrespectful. She feel herself here and there. The older she get, she start to feel herself, say little shit out of her mouth and shit, nigga. We gotta check her. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? We raised her to say yes. You know what I'm saying? When you usually um she don't say what to me, like, you know what I mean, me or my mother or anybody. And so what? Like, you know what I mean? How like you call a kid, you be like, hey, such, come in, such. What? The fuck you mean what? It's like you have to raise your kids. You have to be able to check your kids. Like, but you don't have to always whip your fucking kid ass either. You get what I'm saying? Just like I said, I got my daughter when she was young, and she's still young, so I still check her ass. But I got her very young at a young age to check her and saying what she can and can't say. If you start off raising your fucking kid the right way, you be fine. Your kid will most likely grow up to be a very respectful person. And then, like I said, it depends within type of environment. And I'm not just in the household. I'm talking about outside. You don't have your kids hanging around certain fucking people. You know what I mean? Listen, I get it all the time with like friends of mine, and they had kids around the same age as me, same age, their kids around the same age as mine, and they be like, man. I remember my sister told my wife, like my daughter went over there to visit her and shit. She was like, shit. Cause my little nephew, he bad as shit now, right? But it's the environment that he's in, right? Nobody's really raising this nigga like he's supposed to be raised, like in a way, right? But he's so bad he out of pocket. She like went over there. She was like, oh, she is so polite. Oh, you want to trade? I'll take your kid. You take his ass on. Like I'll take Kanaya. You take baby Jeff. Like, and my wife told me that shit. I was like, listen, listen, for me, it made me feel proud as a parent. But I feel sorry for the kid, my daughter's kid. I'm like, you he's only acting that way because part of he's acting that way because of the way you raised him. You know what I'm saying? The way you raised them. And then let me just explain something to people a lot of times. Having multiple kids sometimes is not good for children. I'm not saying you shouldn't be out having multiple children. I'm not saying that. But sometimes having multiple children like that, you can't focus and watch what your children be doing and check their behavior a lot of times because you so focused on the younger kid. So your kid, the kid that's older, is just growing up and they not getting attention like they supposed to when they do good or bad. You're not focused on because you focus on the younger kid. You more in protective mode of the younger kid than the older kid. So a lot of times having multiple kids sometimes fucks up a part of how your kid grows up as well. And I'm not saying all the time, but it's partly it does have an effect to some, but some situations. But people, you know, our kids are fucked up because of the adults that's in the room. The adults are the ones that are fucked up. It's not the children. The children only doing the shit that the parents does. You see the kids out here acting all fucking crazy, nigga. Listen, part of that shit is the environment, bro. And I mean the environment, not just outside. It's just in the household, nigga. It's what the parent is not doing. Listen, it was always my mission. If I ever had a kid, I know how the outside is. I know how a surroundings can fuck you up. You know what I mean? Turn you into the people that's in the environment that's doing fuck shit, right? I've been there, so I know better, right? So I always promise myself, my daughter just does not have to be connected to that shit. She doesn't have to. I have the experience for her to teach her about that shit. You get what I mean? She don't have to be around that shit to know how it feel about showing human decency and shit like that. That's my job. Or showing her what struggle is. Like my daughter, listen, I'm very honest about this shit. It's gonna be a period of time when my daughter get in her teens. Her ass getting a job. She getting a part-time job because I want her to understand responsibility. I'm still gonna help her out. You know what I mean? She needs shit. I'm gonna help her out, but that extra shit that she want, all the new technology come, all the new shit. Like even now, my daughter, she be wanting these games that cost money and shit on her phone and shit. Like, hey man, no. Let me see that report card. Like and she get good grades, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not just gonna give my daughter shit because she asked for it. You know what I'm saying? I'll think about it. If I think it's something positive that she needs for her, I'll do it. My child is not a bad child either, so it's like it's hard to say no, like I'm not getting you that and some shit like that. But my daughter is the type of person, she don't really ask for shit. I think now when it comes to like her video, because she's starting to get into video games and she's starting to get into games on her phone and shit like that. She want those games. But if my daughter was doing bad in school and she was a bad child, I would not be giving her shit. She would not be getting those games. She would not be getting these clothes and shit, you know what I mean, that she need. I give her clothes to put enough clothes on her back to make sure she warm and cool. Like I'm talking about like far as like, shorts and little dresses and shit, in the summertime. But I'm not going out of my way buying a whole bunch of motherfucking clothes, Nick. If she acting, she's a bad kid. She's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. She's not being respectful. She's not going to school, respecting her teachers and wilding out in school and shit. Nigga, I'm not. No, I'm old school. Nigga, you don't reward kids because you don't want them not to have what you did to have. Fuck out of here, bro. Every shit is you earn that shit regardless of how I grew up. That's still like it was present time, even as poor as I was, in certain holidays or school time. If I did fucked up, regardless of what my situation is, I didn't get what I wanted. Not because a lot of times, all the times I didn't get what I wanted, it wasn't because I was poor. A lot of times I didn't get a lot of shit because some fact nigga I was out here acting like an ass. I was out here being a bad kid, acting up in school and shit. So being disrespectful in the community, like I grew up a little different. So like I don't need to I don't need to have my daughter living in the hood, going to the hood, visiting and shit, being around the hood shit. Nah, nigga, I got enough of that shit for the both of us, nigga. She don't need that in her life. You get what I mean? People, I want my kid to kind of understand what a struggle is. Man, get the fuck out of here. You can show your kid what a struggle is if they misbehave by holding them accountable. And stop feeling guilty because you didn't have certain shit when you was a kid. So you living through your kid. You want to make sure your kid don't live that way. Like, you know, hey man, you still got to discipline your kid. You still got to make sure your kid is responsible. You got to still make sure your kid understand that you just don't get everything you want. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a certain period of time when my daughter get a certain age that she gonna be wanting certain shit, and I'm gonna be like, hey, no. At this point right now, she a kid. She's 7, so it's kind of like you kind of spoil your kid when they're young like that. But when the kid get a little older, listen, my daughter I always say, because kids are much more smarter than what we were when we was young. I got about a good 2 years left with my daughter. You know, kind of still having her in kid mode, like you know what I mean, her being a kid. And then I know about 9, maybe 9, around 10, that's when shit changed because puberty hits and shit like that, for females and all that other shit. So listen, man, shit changes after that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm enjoying, like I told everybody, I'm enjoying this time of my daughter in kid mode. I treat my kid as a kid like she is. I don't try to treat her as no adult. No, let her still be a kid, nigga. I'm not trying to get her to know none of this adult shit yet. She got 2 more years when shit really start. She really start at the period of time start comprehending shit a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second, y'all. Yeah, what's up? What's up, boo? Where y'all gonna eat at? I don't know. It depends where y'all gonna eat. I mean, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm good with Chick-fil-A. All right, make sure you give me a milkshake. All right. Yeah, that's fine. All right. All right. All right, people. I'm about to get out of here because I gotta. I'm sitting here talking to y'all. I gotta let the dog out. It's talking about time for the dog to go out, do his thing, and I gotta wash her fucking washcloth. So I got shit to do. I told y'all, man, I've been having shit to do. That's why I haven't been doing live streams for a minute. Plus, my wife get ready to bring some dinner in the house, so I gotta get my shit together. But anyway, people, I'll be back. Hopefully, people, I'll be back. Probably Thursday. I do a live stream. Maybe it may even be um Wednesday. But yeah, it might even be Wednesday when I do another live stream. I still got some little shit around the house I need to do. I gotta hook some more fucking cameras up and shit. So I got shit to do. I gotta go to my mother-in-law house, fix her cameras and shit. Um, put up her cameras and shit. So I got little shit I need to do tomorrow. So I know I'm definitely not going live tomorrow. Um, yeah, man. I'll be back probably Wednesday, people. If not, I'll be back Thursday. And definitely I'll be back Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So, we gonna get some shit done and you know what I mean, do a lot of live streams, talk catch up with gonna fuck going on. Trip before a minute. Oh shit, excuse me. Um, yeah, people. So listen, let me get up out of here, man. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell button so you guys get the live streams when I do the live streams, people. Um, Make sure you guys, if you can, donate to the channel. Go to OBF The Real Cash App and donate to the channel, people. We highly appreciate anything you guys can donate to the channel. It's your boy, Mr. OBF. Peace and love to the world, people.